Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally, and today we have 5 under $5. This is my Christmas kickoff, and these will be a very vintage, neutral for this particular video, and then for the next few videos I'll probably sprinkle Christmas throughout. I started with just a little sign from the good table at the dump. You could use a 2x4, a block of wood, any scrap wood that you have on hand. And I went ahead and just coated that with some white chalk paint first. And then just taking a piece of cardstock, I freehanded, but you could certainly find a template, a pair of angel's wings. And then I have this beautiful tissue paper, which is a music paper, which I love. So I just went ahead and Mod Podged the cardstock and decoupaged that tissue paper right on. Now I added a coat of the Mod Podge on top and then just gently tore that tissue paper around the edges. Now I'm going to use Distress ink to go around both the block as well as the pair of wings. You could use makeup if you don't have any of this. You could use ink. You could use antiquing wax, anything that you have on hand to give this a little bit more dimension. I like to do that especially for the corners and the outside edge that make this look a little bit more vintage. And then also I think around the angel's wings, it'll just make that pop off a little bit more. Then once I have that finished, I am just going to go ahead and hot glue this directly to the center of the block. You could certainly Mod Podge it on either way. So once I have that on, now I am going to use the gold Rub-and Buff that I have because I like the color of this and it's just easy to paint on with a little bit of a small paintbrush. You could use a gold marker or paint or whatever it is you have, silver, whatever it is that you like. But I thought that this would be sweet. So I'm adding that to the center of the angel wings. And then I think it needs a little bit more. I'm adding a little bit of that around the outside edges as well. So then I go and I get a black thin lined marker to just sort of outline that and make that match the little music and just give that a little bit more definition. And honestly, that's all I'm going to do with this. It's just a sweet little shelf sitter. It could certainly go on your tiered tray or any of the other decor that you have set up for Christmas, but I think it's very sweet, very vintage. So let me know what you think of that. Now that takes me on to the most simple. I found these wooden salt and pepper shakers at my dump on the good table, so free to me, but I'm sure you could pick up a pair for $1 or so at a thrift store. You could paint them, but for my vintage style, I am going to just simply take some of the dark wax and I'm going to go over both of them, get rid of some of the orangey tone to that, and then just kind of wipe that back a little bit with a paper towel just to bring a little bit of definition to the bit that is carved in and to change that color tone a little bit. Now, this is so simple. You could add any number of things to the top of this. If you have one of those little photograph holders and you stick that in with some vintage Christmas pictures, postcards, photographs, that would be really cute. I am going to go ahead and just take apart 2 different sized Christmas trees and add them to the center of this. But also if you had a little figurine, if you had a little deer, anything that's, you know, depending on your style, if it's woodland or what have you, just go ahead and add something Christmassy to the top of these. Add a little fake snow, and that is all you got to do. So I thought this was very sweet. You've probably seen these. I know a number of other creators had done these with spindles, but I thought the salt and pepper shaker would be real easy because it already has the holes in the top. So this is another option if you have one of those little snow babies. So number 3 is simply a piece of birch. If you can get a piece of birch branch, then that I think makes a great base for this. I happen to have some socks from the dollar store from last year or the year before, and I thought that they would be the perfect design here for Christmas, a little less neutral than the other items I'm going to create today, but I'm going to just go ahead and cut the cat off of this, and I'm going to add some twine and make a little hat and make this, turn this into a little snowman. And then once I have that done, I'm going to just make a pom-pom, so to speak, out of the top just by cutting down the top of it here and there and making that look more like a pom-pom. And then I'm going to take a little nose. Now, I have had these in my stash for years. I bought them probably on Amazon, maybe at Michael's. I forget where, but I know you can get them on Amazon because I've seen them in the past. And I just made a little hole with my scissors, added some hot glue, and put that little carrot nose in there. And then simply with a Sharpie, I am going to just make a little face for this snowman. And then once I have the mouth and the eyes on there, now you could take some blush and add rosy cheeks if you want. You could add buttons to the hat. You can create anything you want, dress this up the way that you want it. And then once I have the face made, then I am simply going to take the rest of the sock and make a little scarf. Could probably make these for under $1 a piece, so they would be really great gifts for teachers or for a hostess or something. If you're trying to keep it real frugal and you just want to give a little something, I think that this came out very sweet. So let me know what you think so far about these cute little things. And I do believe the next two are my favorite. I don't know, I do love the angel's wings, but I definitely love the next one. But before, I do want to let you know today's video is in collaboration with Emily from Farm Charm Chic, as well as Christine from Divine Design. And you are going to find their channel links in my description box, as well as a playlist of all the other creators joining in for this fun 5 under 5 Christmas kickoff. So make sure you check that out. Okay, so I saw this alcohol bottle on the good table at the dump, and I thought this was so cool. I forget what kind of alcohol it was, but the bottle was clean, and I thought, why not? This could make such a cool woodland theme or kind of a masculine item for Christmas. I initially thought I could take the metal piece off of the bottle, but that was not happening. So I decided to go ahead and take out the linen white chalk paint and then paint this entire bottle with 2 coats of that. Now, I did have to work a little bit to get the labels off of the bottle with the heat gun and a razor and clean that up with some alcohol so that I was working with a nice clean surface. Now, once that second coat was completely dry, then I was going around my stuff trying to figure out what would kind of be cool to do with this. Yes, it could be cool as woodland, but I decided I was hoping to do something a little bit masculine, a little bit out of the box for me, but I absolutely love how this turns out. So it's fun sometimes to just sort of create something that just comes to you as you go. So the first thing I started with was a leather belt that my husband had outgrown or was somehow in my stash. So I went ahead and I cut that down to fit the bottle, and I did have to create another hole for the little thing to go through. And then once I had that on the bottom of the bottle, I liked the way that it matched the top and was looking very masculine and unique. Then in my own stash, I had a piece of thin leather, which probably came from one of my belts from ages ago, that fit perfectly around the top of the neck. So I just cut a little bit of that and hot glued that piece, and they happen to be almost identical colors. So that was really coming together great. I did want to keep this fairly simple, so I went through my stash to see what else I might have, and I decided to simply hang a couple of, I don't know if these came from a curtain or rivets or whatever they were, some kind of grommet thingies. They're kind of a brass tone circle, and I thought these would be great, so I just took some twine, wrapped that several times around the top of the leather piece, tied that off, and then tied these little ring things onto one on each of the bottom of those rope things, and that was pretty much all I did to that. And then once I had those on, what I really wanted to do was just take the gold rub and buff and rub over the top of that stag. And that was pretty much all I had envisioned for this. I could go further, but I thought really this is exactly what I wanted. So I think it came out great. It's definitely a little bit out of my norm. And sometimes I like that. So I thought it was cute. You'll have to let me know what you think about this. It's unique. I don't think you're going to see another one anywhere. If it wasn't a bottle from the dump, it could make an interesting gift with something inside of it. I don't know, maple syrup or a cologne, or I don't know, kind of reminds me of cologne from back in the day. So anyway, I thought it would make a fun gift. So I happen to have that blue card in the background with one of those stag heads on it that I think my husband got for Father's Day or something. I don't know. I thought it was cool, so it was in my stash after he was done with it, because we never throw anything away. Okay, so for number 5, these little white metal pails are sold at the dollar store. I got them when they were still $1. I think they were 4 in a pack, maybe 6 in a pack, I don't know. And I have a bunch of these little patty pans of all different shapes and sizes, so I wanted to use a few today. So I'm going to start by folding the tabs down to have something to glue this patty pan to. Now, with hot glue, this will not be permanent forever, which is kind of nice, because if you want to take it apart and use these for something else, you can in the future, but it's good enough to last for, the Christmas season. So once I have the first one on there, then I have a second size that can fit right on top of that. So I went ahead and just added some glue here and there where I thought that those would make contact, and then pushed the second one on top of the first one. And then I'm going to go ahead with the third one. It's a little bit taller, a little bit smaller. And so this I thought would be great to put on top of the other two. So then once these 3 are on there on the pail, I went into my stash to see if I had anything else. And now you could go crazy with this. You could decorate this in all kinds of ways, but I like things neutral. I like things simple. So I was looking for something very simple. I found what I thought would be absolutely perfect, which was a tin star. So I am going to just glue a little wood block onto the top of this to have something for it to be glued onto. And then I am going to glue the little tin star onto the block, standing up to make this look like a sweet little vintage Christmas tree. I did end up going back to add a little bit of some white fake snow and just hide that little block a little bit. But I think that this particular one especially came out so adorable. Love the angel's wings, love the Christmas tree, and I really have to say that stag bottle. Those 3 really, for me, definitely the best. But let me know what you think of these. I'd love it if you leave a comment. Definitely helps my channel. Make sure you're subscribed. I am like 65, 70 people away from a giveaway. And don't forget to check out the playlist in my description box. It is going to be great. Thank you so much for stopping by. I will see you in the next one. Take care.